All right, guys, so in this video, you are going to meet my very dear friend, Little E. Now, Little E is simply a nickname. His full name, the E really stands for exponent. So you are going to meet my little exponent, and he's this little guy, and he lives on my shoulder. And let me tell you a little bit about Little E. When Little E thinks about addition, he thinks addition is weak. Here's why. Addition is simply adding an amount on to an existing amount. For example, I'm working with the number 6 and 5. 6 plus 5 means you're starting with 6 of something. You're simply adding 5 more, and you end with 11. In Little E's opinion, addition is weak. Just a single jump. Multiplication gets a little bit stronger. Because multiplication means repeated addition, it changes things a little bit. If I still have those numbers 6 and 5, 6 times 5 means 6 groups of 5. That means 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And so instead of a single jump, it's repeatedly jumping each time a little bit by a little bit. We know 6 plus 5 was only 11 because addition is weak. 6 times 5, a little bit stronger, it's 30. It's a gradual increase. But what Little E wants you to know about himself is that he is super powerful because Little E exponents mean repeated multiplication. Let me show you what this means. So here you're looking at Little E. Little E right here is the 6, and he is sitting on the base of a 5. And so what this actually means, first of all, we would read this expression by saying 5 to the 6th power. Again, Little E is super powerful. So we would say 5 to the 6th power. And that means the number 5 multiplied by itself 6 times. It's not repeated addition like multiplication is. This is repeated multiplication. So instead of 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, this is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 again. Now, if you remember, addition, weak. That only got us 11 when we dealt with adding 5 and 6 together. Multiplication, a little bit stronger. 5 times 6 was 30. But when we throw Little E in, 5 to the 6th power is 3,125 because Little E is super powerful and he causes a rapid increase in numbers. So you can see right here, just comparing regular multiplication to Little E, which is repeated multiplication, you can see that drastic increase because Little E is super powerful. So here are just some quick vocabulary. Little E sits on the shoulder of a base. So in this case, the 3 is the base and the 4 is the exponent or Little E. And when we would read this expression, we would say 3 to the 4th power since Little E is so powerful. This means the number 3 4 times multiplied together each time. Now, if I were to confuse Little E for just a multiplication symbol, we might expect the answer to be 12 because 3 times 4 is 12. But in reality, Little E is way more powerful than that. 3 to the 4th power is worth 81. The way that I like to think about exponents is an exponent is just a little number telling us the number of selfies for the base to take. So 2 to the 5th power means the number 2 is taking 5 selfies and multiplying all of those together. So in this case, our base of 9 and Little E is a 3. We would read this as 9 to the 3rd power. This means the number 9 taking 3 selfies, click, 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 and multiplying them all together. Now, this does not mean multiplication. This is not 9 times 3. It would not be 27. Little E is way more powerful than that. 9 to the 3rd power is 729. Let's look at this one. This one, think about how you might read this one. Base of 7, Little E is 5. We would say 7 to the 5th power. This would be the number 7 taking 5 selfies, multiplying them all together. Now, the worst thing in the world you could do to Little E is insult him. If you tell him that 7 to the 5th power is worth 35, because 7 times 5 is 35, he will run away. because little e is way more powerful than that. 7 to the 5th power is worth 16,807. It is 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. 16,807. So this one, the worst thing you can do is insult little e. If you were to look at this and say, oh, 3 to the 6th power, that's just 18. You would be wrong and you would be insulting little e. The actual meaning of this is the number 3 6 times multiplied together. And if you look, 3 times 3, that's already 9. 9 times 3 more is 27. 27 times 3 again, that number times 3 again, and that number times 3 again. The actual answer is much greater than 18. It's actually 729. This one, think about how we'd read this. 4 to the 5th power. If you were going to insult little e, you would say, oh, you're just worth 20. Oh, no, no, no. This means the number 4 takes 5 selfies. Click, 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 click. And we multiply those all together. That would mean 4 times 4, which is 16, times 4 again, which is already 64, times 4 again, and times 4 again. The actual answer is much greater than a measly 20. It is 1,024. That is how powerful little e is. Let's do one more here. If I have 2 to the 8th power, that insult, think about what it would be. If you looked at that and said that that's worth 18 or 16, you are wrong. This means the number 2 taking 8 selfies and multiplying them all together. That would be 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8, times 2, which is 16 already, times 2, which is 32, times 2, which is 64, times 2, which is 128, times 2 again. The actual answer is 256. Little e is so very powerful. Clearly, I have one more. If you wanted to insult little e, you would say, oh, 9 to the 4th power, that's just worth 36. But we know better. That is not correct. This would be the number 9 taking 4 selfies. 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 brings you all the way very quickly to 6,561. Again, an insult would be 35 for 5 to the 7th power. In reality, little e is so powerful, the actual answer is over 78,000. Not only is little e super powerful, but he actually has an extra special power, and it is called his power of 10. And the power of 10 only works when he's sitting on a 10. Not a 20, not a 30, not a 2, but a 10. That's why it's called his power of 10. And really, guys, this is nothing more than a shortcut. I could set this up the long way. This would mean 10 taking 4 selfies, and we would have 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. But we can do this a shortcut way. To figure out what 10 to the 4th power is worth, here is our shortcut. The first thing is, you know the first digit, if it's sitting on a 10, is a 1. And then what happens is little e gets so excited that he gets sucked up inside the 0. And he gets even more excited that he explodes. And out from the 0 pops 4 zeros since he was a 4. And so we're going to add 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, onto the end of the 1. And we would know that 10 to the 4th power is another way to say 10,000. So let's look at this one. Again, it's a shortcut. This would mean 10 times 10 times 10, and I could do it the long way. But the shortcut says, if little e is sitting on a 10, his very special power of 10 means the answer is going to start with a 1. And then to figure out how many zeros, little e gets so excited he gets sucked into the 0. And he gets so excited he explodes. And out from that 0 come 3 zeros since he's a 3. And those 3 zeros get tacked on after the 1. And you can see a 1 with 3 zeros after it is worth 1,000. Let's look at this one. Little e's power of 10 says, I know what this is very quickly. This is a shortcut. It's a 1 with, well, the 5 gets sucked in there and it explodes. 5 zeros explode out. So when we add 5 zeros onto the end of the 1, we know that another way to say 10 to the 5th power is 100,000. Another quick one. Here's little e sitting on a 10. This is his power of 10. We know the answer is going to be a 1 with how many zeros? Well, the 2 gets sucked inside the 0 and explode. Out come 2 zeros. When we add the 2 zeros on, you see that another way to say 10 to the second power is 100. And so what you're looking at in this chart is all of the powers of 10 with little e compared to in standard form with what it means. 10 to the first power means 10. 10 to the second power is another way to say 100. 10 to the seventh power is a 1 with 7 zeros afterwards. So another way to say 10 to the seventh power is 10 million. And this is really important because our entire number system is based on powers of 10. If this is our whole number universe, starting in the ones place, and we build it tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. If I show you those in standard form, 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, those are all powers of 10. And now we know that we can write all of those powers of 10 using little e when he's sitting on a base of 10. And just notice the thing that's always confusing for kids, 10 to the 0 power is 1, because that would be a 1 with how many zeros? None. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to have to do some thinking. If you want to grab a dry erase board and marker and kind of pause the video and give yourself time to work through these, you certainly can. You'll get the answers after each one. For example, if I give you 10 to the third power on your scrap paper or on your dry erase board, you would know, okay, this would be a 1, and then you have to ask with how many zeros? Well, the 3 would get sucked in and explode. It would be a 1 with 3 zeros, so your answer would be 1,000. So you would write 1,000 on your board and check. You can feel free to pause the video before the answer is revealed. So take a second to think. 10 to the 6th power. How would you write that in standard form? It would be a 1 with how many zeros? Well, it would be a 1 with 6 zeros exploded, and that would give you the answer of 1 million. Make sure that you are adding those commas. Let's look at this one, 10 to the 2nd power. Think about and write down what you would say that is worth. That would be a 1 with how many zeros? You should have a 1 with 2 zeros, meaning that 10 to the 2nd power means 100. Let's look at another one. 10 to the 4th power. That's the power of 10 because little e is sitting on a 10. That means it's a 1 with 4 zeros. You should have 10,000 written down. How about 10 to the 5th power? Little e's power of 10 is a great shortcut. You should know pretty quickly that that's a 1 with 5 zeros exploded. When you put the comma in the right place, you should be looking at 100,000. All right, now let's try and go the other way. For example, if I give you the number 10,000, that's the standard form. We know that since this is a power of 10, it's a 1 with a bunch of zeros, I can write the power of 10 with little e instead. I know this is a 1 with 4 zeros, so another way to say that would be 10 to the 4th power. See if you can try this one. What if I asked you, if I gave you the number 100, and I say, what would little e have to be worth 100? If you thought 10 to the 2nd power, because that means a 1 with 2 zeros, you are absolutely correct. Let's try this one. 100,000. That would be 10 to the blank power. Think about it. If you came up with 10 to the 5th power, because it's a 1 with 5 zeros afterwards, you are a rock star. How about this one? 1 million. How would we write that using little e and his power of 10? If you figured out that's 10 to the 6th power because it's a 1 with 6 zeros, great job. How about this one? This one always gives kids a hard time. Just saying the number 10 means 10 to the 1st power because that means a 1 with 1 zero. All right. I'm not going to have you do that today. We'll have you do some more practice when you get home, back to school. So that is it for little e and his power of 10. Feel free to rewatch the video if you need.